Hello, and thank you for pressing play. Welcome to A Beer with Bear or any other beverage. We're back at episode 55, and our guest for this episode, we have Torment. That's right, Torment, the Psychobilly legend, a tribute to Simon Brand.
And it's great to be back. Unfortunately, we're still stuck in 2020, and this year has been a bit of a nightmare, to say the least. I'm here with the podcast crew. It's good to see you guys. I think this is the first time we've all been in the same room together since, February? It is now October. How have you two been?
Pretty good. Just trying to stay alive over here.
Doing good, Bear. How about yourself?
I can't complain. The boys are back in town. Over here we have George, who is rushing me through this intro because apparently he has this really important dinner to get to. And we have Frank, who is, I guess, new, but not really anymore. You may know him from the Quaranted and Frank Talk, stupid ideas worth spreading.
Yo.
It's good to see you. So I caught a little bit of your show.
Oh, yeah. It's big old bunny conspiracies right there. You know, conservative bunnies, liberal bunnies.
And all in between, right?
Yep. All animals, too.
All
Soon.
animals?
Soon.
Okay, cool. I want to see some hamsters on there.
You get them. We'll put them on there.
All right, then, let's get started. So we have Torment. Original members, we have Simon Crawford on upright bass, Kevin Haynes on drums, and a new member, Andy Candell. Is that how you say his last name?
I don't know. I can't pronounce.
Well, hopefully that's it. If not, I'm sorry, buddy. But you may know from the Moonshine Stalkers, and he had some other projects.
Gunslingers, and I think he's part of Manson now.
Oh, that's right. This was recorded in early February, back when you could still have live music and large crowds. A sleazy hotel. Was that in Anaheim where we're at?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was sleazy.
Yeah, it was
Anaheim.
and Anaheim. This was just hours before they played their last show in Anaheim at the
Doll Hut, I believe?
The Doll
I'm
Hut.
not even sure.
Yeah, that's right. A really tiny place. Has some history to it. We got into details how they started their band in the 1980s, the reunion show in 2018 at the Psychobilly meeting, how Andy found his way into the band, filling what he would refer to as really big shoes. We also cleared up some misinformation and shed some light on the loss of Simon Brand, their founding singer and guitarist. It got a little sad. I'll admit it. I got a little choked up talking about that.
Yeah, it was touchy.
It was touchy. I am a big fan of music, as are you, right, Frank?
Oh, yeah, I love it.
I can actually say now I'm a big fan of those people now, meeting them. I look forward to seeing them again, and glad we can share a conversation with all of you guys at home.
Beer with Bear is available anywhere podcasts are heard. iTunes, Stitcher, Podcast Republic, Libsyn to name a few, and SoundCloud.com. If you like what you hear, hit subscribe, leave a rating, leave a review, and tell your friends. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram under Beer with Bear Pod, and Twitter at Beer with Bear. There you'll find pictures, updates for upcoming episodes, and it's also the best way to contact us. Theme music by Chris Helking, graphic design by Jeremy Fletcher, mixing and post-production by Gator McMurder. Thank you very much and enjoy.
Yeah, so my stomach's kind of like, it's like, oh, you want to do this to me? Here. So, shaking,
So you weren't at the touring gig then?
No, I couldn't make it.
Yeah, bit of a bummer really because we had such a great time last night. Such a fantastic crowd and had the best response ever really that we really weren't expecting. So fantastic night for us, AK.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the footage because at first I saw some of the earlier bands. I was a little worried because it looked kind of empty, but then I saw once the Quarantads were on, it picked up. I'm like, oh, good, it's a good turnout. So
yeah, that's normally the way, and we've had that sort since the 80s. We turn up at a venue, there's a few bands on, a few people trickle in, and then by the time later on in the night fills the place out, and then everybody's ready to rock, really, So
Well, I think that's wrong, because I think the guys on the scene should come and support the support bands because they're the future stars of the scene, really.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a LA thing, but it's notorious for that. People show for the bands they want to see, or they're in the parking. They're there, but they're in the parking lot, probably drinking or something.
Yeah, well, that's the way it always looked to us back in the 80s, especially like with the Clubfoot we'd show up there. First support bands, just a few people, but then towards the end, when the main headlining bands came on, that place packed out.
Yeah.
But I think that's pretty much a general rule. A lot of people don't go to see those young bands, which they should do, because there's a lot of raw talent there, and those are, like Kev said, the up and coming bands that need to be recognised. Really,
Yeah, it looked like a good lineup though. Any of the bands stand out to you that you got to see play?
Yeah,
last night?
like Syndicates were ace last night.
Yeah.
On the gritty end, they were awesome, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all good bands last night. All of them.
Even in Mexico, bands were fantastic.
Oh, that's right. You were in Mexico on Friday, right?
Yeah,
Was it
Mexico City.
Yeah, I know our friends in Trap Mutants are friends of the show. They played too, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. Any bands stand out that night too that you would want to give a shout out to?
Well, that band Quattro 4, they were awesome, weren't they, Kev?
I mean, what an awesome drummer.
Yeah.
From such a little woman.
Yeah, they're
She
like
produced
powerhouse.
a massive,
Powerhouse of a
massive
drummer.
sound.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was a bit scared to follow her, actually. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's crazy. You're afraid to follow them. Were they the co-headliners that night?
No, we were headlining.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm saying they played before you. I'm saying.
Oh, sorry, man. Yeah.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Oh man. So let's go ahead and introduce ourselves for people listening who don't know. I'm here with Torment. Go ahead and introduce yourself, your name, and what you play in the band.
Well, I'm Big Psy, and I'm a double bass player. Third double bass player with Torment, so probably one with more longevity.
Yeah.
More, the sort of bass player that people see as the face of Torment.
And I'm Kev Haynes. I'm the original founder of Torment. And, it's unbelievable that we're still going after all this time. Mind you, there was a 30-year break, which is pretty awesome. But, all good.
Okay, well, we have another member here too, Andy. He's for those who know, he's over here. He's getting polished up. I guess you guys are playing tonight. He's combing his hair. He was taking a shower, which is a good thing. He's a clean guy. Now he's rubbing his nipples. Yeah. You don't want to put gel on those babies though.
I know.
Stick to your shirt.
Glisten,
And they're hard too. Okay, let's just move on. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the show.
Andy, introduce yourself, dude.
Hey, Andy.
Oh, you don't. You can wait till you're ready. It's
I'm
fine.
Andy, and I play the guitar with Torment, man, and it's been a huge honor joining them for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Awesome. All right, so go back and get ready. We'll continue till you're ready. And then, here's what's going to happen right now. Since I got here, I'm kind of running late. He was in the bathroom. I have to use the bathroom too. Kev went, luckily. So, Frank, could you please take over while I go take a whiz and just go ahead and be my co-host?
Oh, no problem. Dang. So is this the first time in the USA?
Yeah, and for us, it's like such an honour because we should have been here 30 years ago, but unfortunately, circumstances being what they were, that didn't pan out, and then the band disbanded. But now, since Kevin and I decided to get this thing back on the road again, we're here finally, which is a fantastic thing for us, eh, Kev?
Yeah, absolutely awesome. I mean, we've both been to the States many times before on vacations and stuff like that, but it's a completely different scenario now, coming over with the band and, and not sleeping,
Plenty of that.
So we're obviously jet lagged, and Simon's coming from New Zealand, and we're coming from the UK.
Oh wow, New Zealand.
Yeah. So
Wow.
it's a big logistical
Nightmare.
for Torment, and hopefully it's not going to get worse and worse.
Wow. So when did you
Baba
guys,
Ching. Nice little segue there, Kev.
Cheers, mate.
So when did you guys decide to bring it back together? Or,
Just a couple of years ago, Kevin and I had a little bit of contact, and so it's like over the Christmas period when I was back visiting family in the UK, Kevin and I decided to meet up at the pub, have a few drinks, and chat over stuff. And it's like none of us knew how it was going to work out. But as soon as I walked through the door of the pub and I saw Kev sitting there, he looked at me. We had both had that cheeky little grin on our face, and it was actually like that time had never dwindled away. It was just like old times.
the magic was still there.
It was,
Absolutely, dude.
yeah.
So what happened prior to that was I got contacted by Steve Whitehouse, who great buddy of ours back in the day at the Clubfoot. We were playing with them many times. It was always Torment, Frenzy, Demented, or the Long Tall Texans, or the Coffin Nails. And he is the main bass technician at the Psycho
Psychobilly.
Festival.
Yeah.
So, and he thought many years ago, maybe 5 years ago, that it would be a good idea to do this. And he spoke to Raquel, the main organizer, and Fran, and they were big fans of Torment. So it was their mission to get
Oh, wow.
a Torment tribute at the festival, and circumstances in mine and Simon's private life depicted that we had time to do it, so we said yes, and we haven't looked back.
Yeah.
How'd you get Andy into it?
Well, he was about the fourth person we asked. Nobody else could
wow.
do it, so we ended up just asking Andy. You know, we didn't even know who he was. No, joking. He was our first choice.
He's your first choice?
He's the best psychobilly guitarist there is on the circuit.
Yes.
How'd
Yeah,
you
I
meet him,
agree.
though, originally? Were you guys just performing together with them? Or not performing, but...
No, we met him in Pineda
Yeah.
the first day of rehearsals.
Yeah, we hadn't spoken a word to the guy, and he just rocked up and he said, "Hey, Andy," and it was good because Kev and I both felt the same. As soon as Andy rocked into the room and he come up, shook our hands, and just say, "Hey," you know, we just knew it was going to work. Because
In fact, I think the conversation was, "Hey, dudes, do you want some beer?" You know, and then we knew he was one of us.
Wow. So you got him to play guitar, and then you practiced a few times, and then you played Psychobilly Meeting? That's how it
We arrived in Pineda in Spain on the Tuesday.
happened? Okay.
No, on the Wednesday. We rehearsed on the Wednesday for 4 hours.
yeah,
We rehearsed on the Thursday for 4 hours. We rehearsed on the Friday for 4 hours. Friday, Saturday, we played on the Sunday, and it was awesome.
yeah,
So Sunday was the 5th day you met Andy.
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And,
Okay.
and to be fair, after the first day we practiced, we could have probably played.
Yeah, we could have. Yeah,
But then fatigue set in. I'd not played the drums for 30 years.
Wow.
So, yeah, I was knackered. Yeah, and I had all sorts of ailments, like tendons being pulled in my arms and stuff like that. And I actually played the actual gig with almost like a cast around my arm because I really did screw it up. But
Did the heat affect it?
no, it was just 30 years of not playing. Yeah, so, but yeah, no, it was, yeah, humbling.
It was
I would
humbling.
say humbling. Yeah.
So that was actually like for playing with all of us together in Pineda was the first time. We'd all like done our homework back at home and stuff like that, and I was practicing by myself back home in New Zealand. It was pretty much all gelled there together as soon as we actually got to Pineda, but actually practicing as a band, that's when it started right there, you know.
I was actually in the restaurant when you guys... so what year was the first performance in Pineda? What year was that?
2018, yeah.
Okay, so it's pretty recent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Awesome.
mean, it was a tribute show. I'll just put the record straight. Every show we do is a tribute show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know we are a lineup now. We are a lineup now, and but you know every gig there's one person with us that's not here.
Yeah.
You know, and we've never ever forgotten the guy.
Yeah.
And we always at every gig we do now we in Brazil it was Salut to Simon Brand. Yesterday it was Cheers to Simon Brand.
Yeah.
And tonight it will be Cheers to Simon Brand.
Yeah.
When you first decided to do the show in Pineda, the one in 2018, was it originally supposed to be a one-off show, or did you guys actually plan to start doing it what you're doing now is a little mini tour? Did you plan to keep doing it? Or?
It was always ever planned to be a one-off
One-off,
show.
yeah. But we wanted to do that with our mates from back in the day as well. So we wanted all our mates from those other good psycho bands back in the 80s. And so that's why we pulled all our mates in to help share that thing with us, really. You know?
You mentioned Steve Whitehouse. Who else was a part of this?
Yeah, Clunky from the Coffin Nails and Sparky from Demented.
And Kofta DeVille from Mountain.
Yeah.
And these were all old Clubfoot guys.
No. Sparky. Well, Martin never. I don't think they ever played the club.
Not as far as I know, no.
Coffin Nails. Obviously, they were regularly on the bill with us, and we were regularly on the bill with Frenzy and
Yeah.
Demented. So we couldn't think of anybody else that we wanted to go out there and do it with.
Awesome.
And of course, they all loved Simon,
Yeah.
which was the main thing. You know, Sparky and Simon were great mates. Steve and Simon, a lot of legacy there.
Yeah.
You know, with Frenzy,
yeah.
and then bands before that as well. So, yeah, so there was a lot of emotional ties between everybody in the band, and Kofta was a massive fan of Torment.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, no, you guys are amazing. I remember when I first found out about you guys, I was new to the scene, of course. So I knew about like the faster stuff, the Old Cut the Left Goes, the Dementia started going like, oh, have you heard of Torment? I'm like, Torment? Oh, it's going to be brutal. All of a sudden it's like, I'm like, what the hell is
This is amazing. And even to this day, though, coming over here, I was listening to some Torment. It just takes me back to just being young again. Good memories, bad memories.
Yeah.
I still remember I had your CD I was listening to and I had like a cast on my arm because my dumb ass punched a window. I remember just listening to Out of My Head. I'm like, things aren't too bad. You know? It could be worse.
Yeah.
But I just remember, just like I said, you guys have been a part of my life for a long time.
Oh,
so.
excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's a bit of an honor, you know?
Yeah. Oh. Well, it's going to be an honor tonight playing.
Absolutely, yeah. Because I wasn't able to do this interview until Friday. I'm like, oh shit, you know what? I could do it after all. That's when I called Frank here. Then he told me to get a hold of Checo, and Checo made it happen right away. So shout out to Checo.
He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like, well, yeah, I could do it, but can you make sure you give me a ride to the venue? I'm like, that's a fair trade. I could do that.
Yeah, we'll make it work, you know.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's move on. So, so you did the show in Mexico. You did the show last night in Los Angeles. Tonight we're in Anaheim.
That's right, yeah.
Doll Hut, yeah.
Doll Hut.
Yeah, and that place has got a bit of a legacy, so I've heard. So looking forward to playing that classic small joint, so I've heard. But it's one of the places to play here, so we're looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Yeah, but also, you know, it's a yesterday was a big gig, you know, great venue and, you know, big stage and, you know, big audience. But tonight is a more of a
Intimate
gig,
show,
you know,
yeah.
where you're up front and personal and it's just going to be a good, fun last show for us.
Yeah.
Okay, and then how long are you guys going to stay in town after this? Are you going to stay in town for a couple more days, or are you going straight home?
No, Simon flies out tomorrow night at 11 p.m. Simon had a problem with AM and PM. But
No, I didn't. It said PM.
and myself and Andy, we fly out probably 6 p.m., 6:25. So we've got a couple of hours tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, so this is your first time out here. I heard him asking. Is it your first time playing out here or just visiting the USA?
Well, it's the first time for me and Simon to play out here. I mean, Andy's played out here a few times.
And as far as what was going to ask you, Andy's actually sitting down with us now. So let's go ahead and move the microphone to Andy.
To me, I don't want that pressure, man.
So they were just telling us how when they got the project started, how you're one of the first choices for them. Let's talk about that process. When they got a hold of you, were you a longtime fan?
Yeah, definitely. To me, it was a lot of pressure because they're giant boots to fill, you know. So to me, when I was asked, I literally was, you know, a bit scared, to be honest, you know, because, you know, it's. Everyone loved the guy, and he was an amazing musician. Huge. So to me, the first challenge was really figuring out if I can do it, and it's different. Every guitar player is different, has a different sound, and to try and just capture that sound, I never heard the band live. I only heard the band live from live records. You never really get the true sound, you know. And they told me a lot of the times, because most of the recordings, they might be clean, and then in the live sound, which is what the band was a little bit heavier. So I was told, I was given advice by the guys on how to really nail the sound that they remember live.
Oh, and did you, how did that go? By the pickups you used, the guitar you used?
No,
maybe it's the setup.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, it's just with guitar, it's always in the hands. You know, how hard you play or where you play on the guitar, and to be honest, he was a very original player. I mean, we like for my generation, we have loads of guitar players we can listen to now and learn from. When he was playing, all that stuff was just in his head. You know, he didn't have no Spotify or Apple Music. I hope you don't have to pay money for that.
No.
I'm not endorsing them.
Yeah.
So definitely it was a lot of work, you know, but I wanted to do it right. And for me, as a guitar player filling in, I'm just doing it in respect and memory of him, and I'm trying to be as close as what he would have done. Obviously, I still don't think it's exactly the same, but it's close enough.
Close enough for rock and roll.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's the 2020 version.
Yeah.
And tell us about the first time you experienced over in Pineda with it. When you first did the tribute band, your first show.
Oh, that was a lot of hard work because we were meeting up
On the Wednesday.
on the Wednesday. Yeah, we were meeting up from 12 till 3, and we were drinking the days before. So 12 till 3 in the afternoon.
Every day.
Every day.
Oh,
Yeah. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, we got along as friends, and I think this is the trick. And they, it's the friendship that carries the sound, and I think that's
Totally agree.
that's what we nail. I don't think it has to do with any musicianship or,
Just the chemistry.
Yeah, exactly. exactly.
especially being a tribute band, all the respect, all the emotions involved in it.
Exactly.
It would make a big deal. Yeah.
So it's definitely has been to me it's been a huge honor, and those guys are like my family now. So
Thanks, buddy.
really, man.
Well, we feel the same.
Yeah.
And how long were you playing guitar before you joined this project? Oh, you have another project though, right?
Yeah.
Several.
Yeah.
So we've been talking for a little while about Torment, Torment Sound, Torment Tribute. What do you say we listen to some Torment?
Yeah, definitely.
This is Mystery Man.
And it's one of those songs that when we recorded it in London, it was we really didn't know what tracks we were going to put down for the original EP, the Mystery Man EP, which has now been re-released on what's the record label? Crazy Love Records, yeah.
And what year was this?
Jesus Christ, this was about 1987.
Yeah,
88. So we went into the studio with Roy Williams in London, and I think we had about 6 tracks to put down, and we ended up agreeing on 4. And Mystery Man was the one that just stood out. I think we rehearsed it I think Simon wrote it 2 weeks before the EP, and I think we played it probably only for the 4th time in the studio. And we back in those days, there's no 2-3 weeks a month to put tracks down. We did everything in a weekend, So, and I think the producer was Doc Stewart.
Yeah, Doc Stewart. Yeah.
Doc Stewart. So
Triple X Studios.
Yeah.
From what I remember.
Was it?
Yeah. No, it was somewhere in London. It was. Yeah.
Oh, anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as soon as we heard it, we just thought, Jesus Christ, we're calling the EP Mystery Man.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah. I want to get into a little bit of the origins of how you guys formed originally, because like I said, I'm a big nerd for you guys. So I want to know how did you meet Simon? How did you two meet? Because since you said he was the 3rd bass player,
yeah,
you're the founding member. Let's get into some of that. Like, how old were you? What year was it? And how did it all kick off? How did this happen?
Well, I was always in rockabilly bands. I was in the Joint Jumpers and many, probably 3 or 4 rockabilly bands in the Southwest. And I literally started with a band called the Wild Range Hepcats, and there's one track on there called Crazy Love, and I think it's on an EP somewhere. But we were actually 14 when we recorded it. So I always had a massive love for rockabilly, and then I became friends with Steve Whitehouse from Frenzy. We used to drink in the same pub, and I didn't even know who Frenzy were. I didn't even know the Sharks were. And then I went home and bought the record and Cry or Die and Frenzy, the EP, and wow, I was just hooked.
Yeah.
And then Steve Whitehouse introduced me to Simon Brand, and then the rest, as they say, is history.
Okay, so Steven and Simon were friends first, right? You guys say y'all drank at the same pub.
Yeah, man.
What city was this in?
In Bristol.
In Bristol.
Yeah.
And you already said the year. And as far as the bass player, when did you come in?
Well, I've been playing with Demented for about a year, and that was sort of tailing off a little bit. And I just got a call from Kev, basically asking me if I wanted to jump in with those guys.
Well,
so
actually, we came to see you before we asked you.
Oh, yeah, well, maybe.
Yeah, we didn't know. We bombed down to a gig in Cardiff, and me and Simon just stood at the back because it was pretty violent.
Violent? How?
Yeah. Well, whenever Demented played their own town, ooh,
Really?
it really kicked. Yeah. So me and Simon, literally with our backs against the wall in this club, we saw Simon, and we both agreed that night we'd ask him. We wanted him.
Yeah, because it's really cool, and obviously a great opportunity for me. It's like when those guys called me and asked me, give me the opportunity, I jumped at it and said, yeah, I'm in. So I saw a better road for me playing with these guys. I had great times playing with Demented and that, but this was more like going to be my band with these guys.
An equal billing.
Equal billing. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kev talks about how he started off. He was really into rockabilly. What about you? What were you listening to before?
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I started off. I was listening to from a very young age, sort of rock steady and ska and stuff. And I did go through a bit of a punk phase, but as soon as rockabilly came around, that's what I wanted. That's where my heart was really. So that's what made me pick up a double bass, And obviously, as that progressed, I went to psychobilly. So as a lot of players do, they all start off with that rockabilly thing. We love it, and that's basically the source to quote a thing of that is the source,
That is the source.
of psychobilly, you know.
Yeah.
So back in the 80s, it always had a good bit of rockabilly in there. So
No, you always had a really fun sound because I used to play upright bass myself. So I always, that click pop you had was always,
Yep.
it was very, influential. And as far as your first bass, I always like asking this since I'm a bass player. Let me how'd you get your first bass?
how do I get the first bass?
Everyone has some kind of a
So
cool story.
there's an area of Bristol called Clifton. There was a little back street. There was a corner music shop. And I was looking out to go and buy one. I saw one it was an old Czechoslovakian bass. I'm guessing from like the 50s, and I think it cost me 150 quid or something like that. It was dead as a dodo. It had no tone whatsoever, but that's what I used on those early Torment shows and everything. And that's that first bass. It holds a lot of memories for me, really. Of course, when I bought it, as a lot of bass players do, white banding around it, that had to go on there. And nice old age bass. So.
And then also too, you had the process of having to record and make it sound good live. Because as we talk about, I've done with Batmobile and other bands who, in those days, you didn't have the stuff we have now as far as the sound equipment, the pickups and everything. So it was kind of like a project, right?
Yeah, it was all pretty rudimentary back there because now you got a lot of choice with pickups and all good double bass sounds and stuff. And we didn't have that back then,
Yeah.
Or we didn't know about it,
And Kev, what about your first drum set?
Well, my first drum set was the same drum set. No, it wasn't. I had sorry. At 11, my mum and dad bought me a drum kit. It was a Premier Olympic kit. And do you know what? I wish I kept that. If I had that now, it'd be worth a lot of money. But when about 2 years before Torment, I went to the Premier factory in Leicestershire and saw this red drum kit, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. It's in all the old videos. Many of the old bands played my drum kit because, it was quite a versatile kit. And back in the day, I had lots of toms and really good cymbals. So it was always good back in the day for like at the club to use one kit.
Yeah.
But that kit unfortunately isn't around anymore because as soon as Simon died, I retired. So a guy I was working with, his son was really interested in drumming, and he was 11, the same as when I started. So I just gave him my drum kit.
Oh, so when Simon passed away, you quit music altogether?
Pretty much.
Yeah, we both did. Yeah.
Oh, both of you guys
Yep.
did. Well, you just didn't feel it anymore, huh?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that though. That was in the early '90s, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
What was that morning that you found out in the morning, the night after? How'd you guys find out about that?
Well, I saw Simon 2 weeks prior to his death, and he came to. He spent a couple of days with me and my then wife, and we were talking about getting back together. And he was in an okay place at that point. He was very lonely, but he came and I said, "Look, dude, you can stay at my house." I'm off on vacation to Greece. And at that point, I had a very, very another close friend called Simon, who was just diagnosed with leukemia. So I go away to Greece and have a lovely holiday, and I come back and my brother picks me up and he said, "Kev, Simon's dead." And I instantly thought it was my friend who had leukemia.
Oh,
and I
no.
didn't realise until the next morning it was actually Simon Brand. So that really hit hard. Really, really fucking hit hard.
And you said he was over because you guys were talking about getting back together. How long were you broken up by this time?
Well, I don't think we ever really, really broke up, because there was never a last show. I think it was about probably 8 months since the last show.
So just pretty much a long break.
Yeah, it was a long break. And at that point we had, Simon went off and did his thing, and we had a local bass player called Vince Mildren, who unfortunately his life has been cut short also. So, and we did a few shows, and then Vince was in many bands, he was in many bands, and Simon needed a break and decided to go to the States for a bit. And it was, and work commitments, nobody's, apart from very few bands in this industry, then were full-time musicians. We all had to make a living to pay the mortgage.
Yeah.
So, it was we always stayed in contact, and the plan was to do something in Japan. And that's what we were talking about.
Wow. And what about you, Big Si? How'd you hear about it?
Well, I'd moved to Holland. I was living in Amsterdam then for 4 years, but in those early stages, I just heard through friends there that someone had passed, and just a big kick in the head for me, because it's just not what you expect, So, as with Kev, it was a big shock to us,
Well, we had great times,
Yeah.
When the three of us were in the studio, it was just like 3 kids playing around.
Yeah, just good laughs.
It was just a good laugh.
And you said too, you seemed like it was a good spot at the time when you spoke to him, right?
Yeah, he was really wanted to sort himself
signs.
out. He really wanted to sort himself out.
Yeah, man. I guess I had to get into that. I was like avoiding it, but I had to get. I had to ask you guys.
No.
Yeah, well, it's part of the band, isn't it?
I mean,
Yeah, it's part of the history.
When we've spoken to a lot of people, and there's a lot of different variations of stories about why, what, and how. Nobody will really ever know the true reason.
Yeah, for those listening who don't know, he took his own life. That's why it's a bit of a touchy subject.
Yeah, it's a tragedy, really. Yeah.
But I just wish this is something I will want to say, and I hope a lot of people listen to this. People need to ask the right people the right questions, and not make assumptions on what, how, if, or what.
Yeah,
and
totally,
why.
Kev. Totally, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.